Wednesday Addams reluctantly agrees to her parents' wishes and enrolls at Nevermore Academy, a school for outcasts in Jericho, Vermont. There, she meets eccentric classmates and experiences a series of unusual events. She soon discovers her psychic ability, which allows her to see visions of the past and receive warnings of danger. When a monster known as the Hyde begins terrorizing the town, Wednesday investigates and learns that it is Tyler Galpin, a boy she once liked. He is working with Marilyn Thornhill, a teacher seeking revenge on the Addams family. With help from her friends and family, Wednesday defeats Marilyn and captures Tyler. Months later, during the summer, Wednesday spends her time mastering her powers using Goody Addams' spellbook. Once she gains control, she turns her attention to an unsolved case from her childhood involving a serial killer called the Scalper. Using her psychic gift, she tracks him by touching an object he once held. A new hunt begins. This is Wednesday Season 2. At the airport, security discovers her stash of hidden weapons along with Thing, disguised as a fake severed hand. Although the weapons are confiscated, she continues her mission. Her search leads her to Kansas City, where she confronts the Scalper and attempts to subdue him. He overpowers her, triggering a powerful vision that knocks her unconscious, then takes her to his hideout. There, he makes a doll in her likeness. Thing arrives to help and defeats the Scalper despite the difference in size. After the fight, black tears appear in Wednesday's eyes, but she insists it is nothing and makes Thing promise not to tell her mother. Later, Wednesday pins a newspaper article about the Scalper's arrest on her wall and searches Goody's book for an explanation of the black tears, but finds no answers. As summer ends, Gomez and Morticia take her back to Nevermore, bringing Pugsley for his first year. Pugsley has the ability to generate static electricity, similar to Uncle Fester. When Wednesday encourages him to demonstrate, he accidentally destroys a stop sign, causing chaos. Meanwhile, in a nearby forest, a man taking photographs notices crows acting strangely. They swarm him, forcing him into his car, yet still manage to get inside and attack. Back at Nevermore, Morticia asks Wednesday to look after Pugsley. As her parents help him settle in, students stare at Wednesday and ask for autographs. Bianca reminds her that she is famous for stopping Crackstone's resurrection, but Wednesday shows no interest in the attention. She meets the new principal, Barry Dort, who invites her to be the guest of honor at the Founders' Pyre. She declines and walks away. In her dorm room, she finds Enid hosting a small party. When the gathering ends, they exchange stories and gifts from their summer. Wednesday gives Enid a doll she took from the Scalper's hideout and shows her the completed draft of a novel she has not yet published. Ajax Petropoulos arrives to see Enid, but she hides and signals Wednesday to turn him away. After he leaves a gift, Enid admits she no longer has feelings for him. Wednesday advises her to end the relationship directly. As Wednesday opens her wardrobe, an arrow flies past Enid, carrying a photo of Wednesday with Barry and a threatening note. Wednesday tries to use her powers to identify the stalker, but sees nothing. Elsewhere, Pugsley is assigned to share a room with Eugene Ottinger, who can control bees and insects. Eugene shows him his collection of caterpillars, but Pugsley jokes that they look like food. He hopes to become friends, yet Eugene explains that he is only sharing the room because of his gratitude to Wednesday. Soon after, Morticia tells Wednesday that Principal Barry Dort wants her to lead the school's fundraising gala committee. Vincent Thorpe, Xavier's father, plans to transfer his son to another school and stop donating money after Xavier was wrongly accused of murder. Barry hopes Morticia can change his mind. To persuade her, he even offers Rotwood Cottage, a residence once occupied by Laurel Gates before Wednesday exposed her, so Morticia would not need to travel from home. However, Morticia dislikes the cottage's bright decorations, which do not match her dark style. When Gomez and Pugsley leave to hunt rats, Wednesday asks her mother why she truly accepted Barry's offer. Morticia says it is for her children's sake, but Wednesday senses there is more to it. Morticia then admits she wants to serve as Wednesday's spirit guide, believing she is the only one who understands her psychic powers. Wednesday disagrees, describing herself as a raven and her mother as a dove. Morticia responds that her sister Ophelia was also a raven, insisting that Wednesday is becoming more like her. After Wednesday leaves, Morticia quietly confides to Gomez that their daughter is hiding something, and she fears the past may repeat itself. Later in the forest, Wednesday sees police cars and an ambulance at a crime scene. The victim is Carl Bradbury, a private detective last seen spying on an unfaithful couple. His body is found inside his van, surrounded by dead crows. There, Wednesday meets Jericho's new sheriff, Richie Santiago, and also notices a man beyond the police line. She follows him and discovers it is Donovan Galpin, the former sheriff and Tyler's father. Galpin explains that Carl was his friend and that they had been investigating a case involving outcasts. He asks Wednesday for help, but she refuses. Before leaving, he warns her about the crows that are always watching. That night, Ajax entertains Pugsley and some new students with the legend of the Caliban dormitory. According to the story, a boy with a weak heart built a mechanical one to survive. The device made him cold and power-hungry, and his dangerous inventions eventually caused his death. His body, the legend says, lies beneath the skull tree without a headstone.
Greatest mind to ever walk the hall, but his inventions became more dangerous. Cost him his life.
If someone presses their ear to the skull's left eye socket, they can hear the mechanical heart beating. Ajax says only the bravest dare to try. Meanwhile, Barry calls Bianca to his office and asks her to use her siren powers to persuade donors to give money. When she refuses, he threatens to revoke her scholarship, forcing her to agree. Elsewhere, Wednesday plays a piece by Sergei Prokofiev on her cello when a woman enters. She introduces herself as Isadora Capri, the school's music teacher and a former prodigy. Capri criticizes Wednesday's technique, but Wednesday replies that she plays only to pass the time. The next day, the school is busy preparing for the Founders Pyre event. Barry again asks Morticia to lead the fundraising committee, but she says she is still considering it, wanting what is best for her family and the school. That night, Wednesday receives a farewell letter from Xavier along with a painting of a raven on a gravestone. He believes it is connected to something she will face, although neither of them understands its meaning. Wednesday then discovers her novel manuscript is missing and finds an anonymous letter with a photo of her face, both eyes gouged out. She realizes she must attend the Founders Pyre to retrieve it. At the event, Wednesday tells Enid to watch for anything unusual while she searches near the large bonfire. Several students bump into her and slip another note into her pocket, instructing her to look under the woodpile for the manuscript. Enid is briefly stopped by Ajax, who asks why she's been avoiding him, but she brushes him off and returns to watch the fire. The event begins with a performance by Capri and the choir. As Barry delivers his speech, Enid warns Wednesday that the fire will be lit soon. Wednesday climbs onto the woodpile, just as Barry ends his remarks by launching a fireball into it. Flames rise as the crowd cheers, unaware that Wednesday is still inside.
Without a spark!
Enid runs to Barry, begging him to stop the fire. Wednesday escapes unharmed with her manuscript. Barry publicly praises her for saving the school and unveils a painting of her and her friends. While the crowd applauds, Wednesday looks at it with disgust. She steps onto the stage and delivers a speech, urging everyone to resist their oppressors. Then she tells them the real danger comes from those who offer empty praise, including herself. Admitting that she is selfish and dishonest, she warns them they will regret following her. She burns the painting and leaves. While the crowd remains distracted, Pugsley slips into the forest in search of the skull tree. He presses his ear to the skull's left eye socket and is startled by a raven, causing him to fall and discharge static electricity into the ground. A zombie rises from the earth, but instead of being frightened, Pugsley smiles with excitement. Elsewhere, Enid tries to stop Wednesday, but before she can, Wednesday has a sudden vision and collapses. She finds herself standing in a cemetery filled with ravens, staring at Enid's grave. Enid's spirit appears and blames her for her death.
I died because of you!
Back in reality, Enid panics as Wednesday suffers a seizure, black tears streaming down her face. When Wednesday wakes, Morticia is by her side. Morticia explains that black tears are a sign of spiritual exhaustion caused by overusing her powers. She demands that Wednesday hand over Goody's spellbook. Wednesday refuses, insisting that Goody is her spirit guide. Morticia warns her that her gift is not meant to be abused as a weapon, but Wednesday walks away in anger. Still haunted by her vision and the image of the one-eyed raven, Wednesday goes to Galpin's house. Inside, she finds Galpin's body, murdered in the same brutal way as Carl. A raven bursts from his mouth, and more circle above. When she tries to read his death using her psychic ability, nothing happens. Her powers are gone. The police arrive, forcing her to flee. Sheriff Santiago catches her and brings her in for questioning, suspecting her since she was present at both murder scenes. Gomez arrives as her lawyer, ending the interrogation. On the way home, he promises not to tell Morticia, but warns that he cannot make her return if she refuses. The next day, Pugsley hides the zombie in a shed at Nevermore and discovers its mechanical heart. Convinced it is the boy from Ajax's story, he names it Slurp. Using static electricity, he can control it and assures Eugene that it is harmless without a brain. Meanwhile, Wednesday returns to her room and sees Enid lying on the floor with blood on her neck. At first, she thinks it is serious, but Enid reveals it is a prank for Nevermore's annual prank day, payback for the fake eyeball Wednesday once left on her pillow. When Wednesday checks the fake eyeball, she realizes it is real. Enid then receives a message from Wednesday's stalker. They trace the number to Galpin's voicemail, but Wednesday knows it cannot be him since he was murdered the night before. Enid refuses to get involved, choosing instead to focus on enjoying school and her driving lessons. After she leaves, Wednesday tries to read the eyeball, but fails again. She questions a teacher about an avian who could control birds, only to learn that none have been at Nevermore for the past 10 years. With no clear leads, she decides to visit Willow Hill, where Tyler is being kept. She steals Enid's driving course form and tells Thing to keep the trip secret. After she leaves, Morticia appears and demands that Thing give her Goody's book. Wednesday pretends to be Enid to get a ride for her lesson, nearly hitting Slurp, who has escaped. At Willow Hill, she meets staff member Judy Spanagel, then Dr. Fairburn, who takes her to Tyler's cell. Tyler mocks her, calling them both cold-blooded monsters and threatening Enid. Wednesday stays calm, pushing him mentally until he nearly transforms into the Hide. Back at the dorm, Enid prepares to spend time with her crush, Bruno. She gives Thing a birthday gift, but Bruno suddenly collapses. Before she can react, she is knocked unconscious and Thing is locked inside his chest. When Wednesday returns, she finds Enid's bag on the floor, but no sign of her. After freeing Thing, she receives a call from Enid's kidnapper, giving her 30 minutes to save her. The only clue is a card with the words, "Play Dead." Enid and Bruno are trapped in the abandoned Iago Tower, hundreds of knives hanging above them, ready to fall. Wednesday solves the clue by playing the correct chords on the organ, which opens a hidden door leading to a dark corridor. A masked figure follows her, but vanishes, leaving the mask behind. The passage leads directly to Iago Tower, where she tries to free Enid and Bruno. Thing accidentally triggers a mechanism that traps him, causing the knives to begin lowering. Rushing downstairs, Wednesday finds a typewriter surrounded by classic books. She must solve the final riddle before the knives drop. She types the correct answer just in time, saving them both. The mastermind steps forward, Agnes DeMille, a younger student with the power of invisibility who claims to be Wednesday's biggest fan. She admits to stalking Wednesday and planning the entire event as a prank, but denies killing Galpin. She confesses to stealing his phone and offers to help find the real killer. Bianca visits Morticia and uses her persuasion ability to convince her to call Gabrielle, requesting a large donation for Nevermore. Morticia reluctantly agrees, knowing that Barry has been pressuring Bianca to secure funds and has threatened to revoke her scholarship if she fails. In the forest, Slurp wanders onto the road and is struck by a car. The driver stops to help, but Slurp attacks and kills him. At the same time, Wednesday discovers that her mother has taken Goody's book. She sneaks into Morticia's room to retrieve it, only to be caught in the act. Wednesday explains her vision of Enid's death, the one-eyed raven, and the link between the murders of Galpin and Carl, both found near flocks of ravens. She insists she needs the book to uncover the truth. Morticia refuses, warning that the book is not the solution but a dangerous shortcut, one that could cause Wednesday to end up like Ophelia, who lost her sanity after overusing her powers. Their argument intensifies until Wednesday storms out.
Your treacherous path is my walk in the park.
You sound just like Ophelia.
This isn't over.
The next day, Pugsley tells Eugene that Slurp has returned and is regrowing its brain. When Slurp tries to bite him, Eugene urges Pugsley to report it. Pugsley refuses, promising to hide Slurp and even planning to bring it on the upcoming camping trip. Meanwhile, Bianca hides her fugitive mother at an inn. Gabrielle's husband had forced her to use her persuasion powers in a large-scale fraud scheme, and now she is on the run from the law. With Agnes's help, Wednesday locates the bullpen mentioned in Carl's final call to Galpin. It is near Camp Jericho, where the school will be camping that weekend. She reluctantly agrees to join the trip and notices Pugsley carrying a coffin with Slurp hidden inside. To her annoyance, Gomez and Morticia are also there as parent supervisors. As Barry addresses the students, Kruger and his cadets arrive, claiming they reserved the campsite first. Both groups present contracts, but Wednesday proposes settling the matter with a paintball-style war. The rules are simple. Each team must protect its Zephyr, capture the opponents, fire a flare, then cross Ciderback Falls and return it to a tripod. Kruger arms his cadets with illegal equipment. Bianca's persuasion fails against their guards, who wear headphones. Ajax and his partner are quickly eliminated, allowing the cadets to fire their flare. Enid and Bruno attempt to stop them, but are driven back by tear gas. Wednesday orders Eugene to release a swarm of bees, creating enough chaos for her to steal the Zephyr. Bianca fires their flare, but Bailey from the cadets gets close to victory. Wednesday ziplines from the waterfall, knocks him down, and secures the win for the outcasts. That night, while the others gather by the fire, Wednesday slips away to the bullpen. Behind a mirror, she discovers newspaper clippings of outcast deaths. All the victims have been patients at Willow Hill before being declared dead. Above the clippings is a single word, Lois. She tries to use her psychic ability on one of the clippings but fails, unaware that a one-eyed raven is watching her from outside. Back at camp, she challenges Morticia to an ancient family duel. The terms are simple. If Wednesday wins, she keeps Goody's book, but if Morticia wins, the book will be destroyed. Meanwhile, Kruger orders a secret revenge attack. Bailey protests but is ignored. The cadets sneak toward a tent and accidentally set off fireworks that Pugsley had placed around Slurp. Startled, the zombie attacks and kills Kruger, causing Bailey and the others to flee in terror. The duel begins with both mother and daughter blindfolded, each trying to shatter the other's glass heart. Wednesday attempts a surprise dagger strike, but Morticia blocks it with ease. Slurp charges toward Gomez, but Pugsley leaps in to protect him.
No, my God!
The fight continues until Morticia finally breaks Wednesday's glass heart. At that moment, Wednesday throws her sword past her mother, striking Slurp from behind. The police arrive, restrain Slurp, and take it away. Gomez and Morticia comfort Pugsley, while Wednesday notices the one-eyed raven land on the shoulder of a cloaked avian before vanishing into the night. After returning from camp, Wednesday reviews the clues she found in Galpin's bullpen, determined to learn why he had been investigating the deaths of outcasts. Dr. Fairburn warns Judy to keep a new patient under constant surveillance. The patient is Marilyn Thornhill, known for being dangerously manipulative. The next day, Fairburn calls Marilyn into her office and asks her to help rehabilitate Tyler. Marilyn, who once controlled the Hyde for her own purposes, tries to bargain, claiming only she can manage him. Fairburn threatens to send her to a maximum security prison, forcing Marilyn to agree. When she meets Tyler, he looks at her with teary eyes, like a child seeing his mother, before suddenly transforming into the Hyde, grabbing her by the throat and slamming her against the wall. Meanwhile, Wednesday visits a cemetery and discovers that every outcast who supposedly died at Willow Hill was cremated and buried there. Opening one of the urns, she finds ashes that are not human, proving the deaths were staged. Before she can leave, the one-eyed raven snatches her evidence and flies off. She chases it and sees the avian escaping on a motorcycle. Determined to expose the truth, Wednesday goes to her grandmother, Hester, a wealthy mortuary owner, and demands that she buy the entire cemetery. Hester refuses until Wednesday threatens to tell Morticia about her involvement in the family business. Back at Nevermore, Wednesday secretly meets Uncle Fester and asks him to infiltrate Willow Hill. Fester recalls that his last visit there was a Morticia's request to check on Ophelia, but by the time he arrived, she had already been taken away. Suddenly, Fester shocks the air behind Wednesday, revealing Agnes, who is hiding invisibly. Wednesday instructs him to find someone named Lois at Willow Hill and warns that Fairburn must never know it came from her. Fester then checks into an inn and causes enough trouble for the owner to call the police. When officers search the rooms, they find both Fester and Gabrielle, who has been hiding there without paying. They are arrested together, and Fester's odd behavior convinces Sheriff Santiago to have him sent to Willow Hill. Meanwhile, Bianca is preparing invitations for the school gala when she learns her mother has been arrested. Barry tells her to stay focused on her work, but Ajax helps her slip away by turning Orloff to stone. She hypnotizes Pugsley and Eugene into handling the invitations, while she and Ajax work to free Gabrielle. Elsewhere, Wednesday asks Morticia about Ophelia. Morticia explains that after overusing her psychic powers, Ophelia began screaming black tears. Hester sent her to Willow Hill, where her condition worsened. Morticia begged for her release, but Hester ignored her. At that moment, Hester arrives and gives Wednesday the deed to the cemetery, mocking Morticia in the process. When Morticia sends Wednesday away, Hester whispers that Augustus Stonehurst signed all the death certificates. Morticia warns her mother to stay out of family affairs, but Hester offers a large donation in exchange for Goody's book. Morticia refuses and burns the book in the fireplace. At Willow Hill, Fester meets Fairburn and says he was first admitted at age 10 and never picked up. Scans of his brain showed it was full of sharp objects. In the cafeteria, he notices a worker with a name tag reading Lois, but learns her real name is Louise. At Nevermore, Agnes tells Wednesday that Stonehurst, once a science teacher at the school, is now a patient at Willow Hill. Wednesday sends Thing to warn Fester. Just then, the avian invades the school and unleashes a swarm of crows. In the chaos, the one-eyed raven tries to kidnap Thing, but buries fireballs to scatter the birds. Enid catches Thing before he falls, while Wednesday chases the avian into hidden passages. The chase ends in the music room, where she finds Dr. Fairburn waiting for Capri, deepening her suspicions. Inside Willow Hill, Thing finds Fester and delivers Wednesday's message. Fester locates Stonehurst in a wheelchair, unresponsive, and shocks his pet parrot Ozzy for information. The parrot responds with a string of numbers. Wednesday questions Orloff, who says Stonehurst had a daughter and even built her a birdcage in Iago Tower. Meanwhile, Bianca arrives at the police station, hypnotizes the officers into dropping the investigation against Gabrielle, and destroys all related files. She and Ajax smuggle Gabrielle into Nevermore, hide her in an unused classroom, and narrowly avoid Barry while using his secret passage. That night, Fester is escorting Stonehurst back to his room when they see Marilyn heading toward Fairburn's office. Marilyn recognizes Fester as Wednesday's uncle and alerts Fairburn. On the way, Stonehurst points to the maintenance room and says the name Lois. Fester rushes there, but is intercepted by Fairburn and her guards before he can enter. He is thrown into solitary confinement, sharing a cell with Slurp. Thing escapes and races back to Nevermore to tell Wednesday what has happened. The next day, Wednesday begins planning how to rescue Fester and uncover the truth about Lois. With Enid and Agnes, she decides to infiltrate Willow Hill by hiding in Capri's car as the music teacher leaves for a therapy class. Agnes uses her invisibility to slip into the security post and create a distraction. When a guard moves to check the car, she triggers the diversion, giving Wednesday enough time to slip away unnoticed. Inside, Louise hides Wednesday inside a food cart to help her blend in until she can steal a guard's access card. With it, she frees Fester from his cell. In their haste, they leave the door unlocked, allowing Slurp to escape and attack the guards. Dr. Fairburn quickly orders security to open fire on the zombie. Meanwhile, Wednesday and Fester race to the maintenance room, using Ozzy's number sequence to unlock it. Behind a concealed door, they discover an underground facility labeled Lois, the long-term outcast integration study. Inside, they find that the outcasts thought to be dead are actually alive, used as test subjects. Galpin had uncovered the experiments and tried to stop them, hoping to protect Tyler from the same fate. From the shadows, the avian emerges, revealing herself as Judy, Stonehurst's daughter. She explains that Fairburn brought her into Willow Hill to continue her father's work. Once a student at Nevermore, Judy knows its secret passages and used them to reach Iago Tower. Her father's goal was to give normal humans outcast abilities, and she proudly claims to be proof of his success, born human, yet now able to control birds. Wednesday accuses her and Stonehurst of exploiting outcasts for personal gain. Fester attempts to shock her with electricity, but instead cuts the power, freeing the test subjects, who immediately turn on Judy. Fester urges Wednesday to escape, but she refuses until she rescues a frightened woman locked in an isolation cell. Chaos erupts throughout the facility. Patients break free, guards scatter, and Slurp roams the halls unchecked. Outside, Enid waits with Agnes, sensing trouble and calling Sheriff Santiago for help. Meanwhile, Marilyn manages to steal a guard's keys and remove her restraints. She heads to Tyler's cell, but instead of gratitude, he promises to kill her for keeping him imprisoned. She warns him that Wednesday is inside the facility and convinces him to go after her. Tyler spares her, transforms into the Hive, then hunts her down, corners her, and kills her. Elsewhere, Dr. Fairburn hides in her office with Stonehurst, unaware that Slurp has entered. The zombie kills Fairburn, greets Stonehurst as though they were old acquaintances, and then attacks him. At the same time, Wednesday finally comes face to face with the Hive. He overpowers her and hurls her through a window. The police arrive and open fire, but the bullets have no effect. The Hive slashes through the officers and disappears into the night. This part closes with Thing frantically trying to wake Wednesday as she lies bleeding on the ground, while the Hive's whereabouts remain unknown. To be continued. So the moral of the story is, if your family drama involves zombies, bird-controlling villains, and a one-eyed raven stalker, maybe skip school events and stick to online classes.